Welcome back to Viba FlixM, the channel where untold truths and hidden dramas come alive. Tonight, we dive into one of the most shocking revelations in the world of reality television, an expose that feels more like a movie script than real life. On January 5th, the curtain fell on the turbulent marriage of 90 Day Fiancé stars Michael Elisami and Angela Deem. What began as a love story broadcast to millions ended in a courtroom, a prison sentence, and a scandal that continues to ripple across continents. But this isn't just about divorce. It's about betrayal, hidden debts, secret lovers, and the price of loyalty. A source close to the couple revealed that Michael had been living a double life, one that Angela never saw coming. For a year, he was secretly involved with Eleanor, a woman from Australia whose wealth and determination changed the course of his future. Why Eleanor? Why now? The answer lies in a staggering $700,000 debt Michael carried in silence. Eleanor's promise to erase that debt became the turning point. In exchange, Michael chose her over Angela, setting the stage for a new marriage scheduled for February 20th. Angela, however, refused to be silenced. She fought back with a defamation lawsuit, and the court sided with her, sentencing Michael to 5 months in prison. Yet, Angela's story didn't end in despair. Instead, she chose resilience, announcing her decision to remarry and rebuild her life. This is not just gossip. It's a saga of choices, consequences, and the human cost of secrets. Over the next 10 chapters, we'll uncover the layers of this drama: the divorce, the debt, the courtroom battles, and the upcoming wedding that has everyone talking. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will make you question everything you thought you knew about love, loyalty, and fame. The first week of January 2026 marked the end of a marriage that had been both celebrated and criticized across the globe. On January 5th, Michael Elisami and Angela Deem officially signed their divorce papers, closing a chapter that had been filled with fiery arguments, cultural clashes, and moments of fleeting tenderness. For years, viewers of 90 Day Fiancé had watched their relationship unfold. Angela, the outspoken American, and Michael, the soft-spoken Nigerian, navigating the complexities of love across borders. Their union was never simple. Family disputes, trust issues, and Angela's strong personality often clashed with Michael's quieter demeanor. But despite the chaos, fans believed they might endure. Behind the cameras, however, the cracks were deeper than anyone realized. Family disputes escalated into full-blown battles, with Angela's relatives questioning Michael's intentions and Michael's family expressing doubts about Angela's ability to adapt to Nigerian traditions. The tension became unbearable, and by late December, whispers of separation had already begun. On January 5th, those whispers became reality. The divorce was finalized in a private courthouse session, attended only by close family members. Angela reportedly left the courtroom with her head held high, refusing to shed tears in public. Michael, on the other hand, remained stoic, his silence masking the storm brewing beneath. For Angela, the divorce was both an ending and a beginning. She told friends that she felt liberated, ready to reclaim her life without the constant battles. For Michael, however, the divorce was a calculated step, one that paved the way for his secret relationship with Eleanor to finally come into the light. The world saw the divorce as the end of a reality TV romance, but in truth, it was only the beginning of a much larger story, one that would soon involve hidden debts, courtroom drama, and a new marriage that shocked even the most loyal fans. While the divorce on January 5th shocked fans, the true storm was brewing beneath the surface. Michael Elisami had been carrying a secret that not even Angela, his wife of several years, had fully uncovered: a staggering $700,000 debt that weighed on him like a shadow. This debt wasn't just a financial burden, it was a ticking time bomb. Friends close to Michael whispered that the debt stemmed from failed business ventures and risky investments made during his attempts to establish himself in America. Others claimed it was tied to obligations back home in Nigeria, where family expectations and cultural responsibilities often demanded financial support far beyond his means. Whatever the origin, the number was undeniable: $700,000, hidden from the public eye. Angela, known for her fiery temper and sharp instincts, had suspected something was wrong. She often accused Michael of being secretive, of hiding truths behind his calm demeanor, but she never imagined the scale of the problem. To Angela, Michael's silence was betrayal. To Michael, it was survival. He feared that revealing the debt would not only destroy their marriage, but also his reputation on the global stage. The weight of the secret shaped every decision Michael made. It explained his growing distance from Angela, his reluctance to commit fully to their shared future, and his quiet desperation for a way out. It was in this desperation that Eleanor appeared, a woman whose wealth and willingness to help offered Michael the lifeline he had been searching for. The debt became the invisible third party in Michael and Angela's marriage. Every argument, every suspicion, every cold silence was amplified by the knowledge that Michael was living a double life. He wasn't just a husband on reality TV. He was a man drowning in obligations, clinging to any chance of rescue. By the time the divorce papers were signed, Michael had already made his choice. Eleanor's promise to erase the debt wasn't just generosity, it was salvation. And for Michael, salvation meant betrayal. As Michael's marriage to Angela crumbled under the weight of hidden debts and family disputes, another story was quietly unfolding. One that would change the trajectory of his life forever. In the shadows, away from the cameras and Angela's fiery gaze, Michael had already begun a secret relationship with Eleanor, a woman from Australia whose presence was as mysterious as it was transformative. Eleanor was not part of the reality TV spotlight. She lived a life far removed from the chaos of 90 Day Fiancé. Yet, her connection to Michael was undeniable. For nearly a year, she had been the confidant he turned to when the pressure of his marriage became unbearable. Where Angela's confrontations left him drained, Eleanor offered calm reassurance. Where Angela demanded answers, Eleanor provided solutions. Their relationship was built on secrecy. Late-night calls, hidden messages, and quiet meetings away from prying eyes became the foundation of their bond. Michael, who had always appeared reserved on screen, found in Eleanor a partner who understood his struggles without judgment. She listened, she empathized, and most importantly, she offered him something Angela never could: financial salvation. It was Eleanor who first learned the truth about Michael's $700,000 debt. Instead of recoiling, she leaned in. She promised to help, to erase the burden that had been suffocating him for years. For Michael, this was more than love. It was rescue. Eleanor's willingness to pay off the debt was not just an act of generosity, it was a declaration of commitment. But secrecy has a price. Michael knew that if Angela discovered the relationship, the fallout would be catastrophic. And yet, the allure of freedom was too strong. Eleanor represented a new life, a fresh start in Australia, far from the drama that had defined his marriage. By the time the divorce was finalized, Michael and Eleanor's bond had already solidified. Their relationship was no longer just an escape, it was a plan. A plan that would soon lead to marriage, a new home, and a future that Angela could never have imagined. By the time Eleanor stepped fully into Michael's life, the relationship had already shifted from secret romance to strategic alliance. What bound them together wasn't just affection, it was a promise that would change Michael's destiny and seal Angela's fate. Michael's $700,000 debt was more than numbers on paper. It was a chain around his future. Every day, the weight of that debt reminded him of the risks he had taken, the failures he couldn't escape, and the shame he carried in silence. For years, he had hidden it from Angela, terrified that the truth would shatter their fragile marriage. But Eleanor was different. She didn't recoil at the figure. She didn't judge. Instead, she offered him something Angela never could: relief. Eleanor agreed to pay off the debt in full. It wasn't a casual offer. It was a calculated decision. She saw Michael not just as a man in need, but as a partner worth investing in. Her wealth gave her the power to erase his past mistakes, and her determination gave Michael the courage to imagine a new life. For Michael, the deal was irresistible. The promise of freedom from debt meant more than financial stability. It meant escape. Escape from Angela's constant suspicion, escape from the endless family disputes, escape from the image of a man trapped in a marriage that no longer served him. Eleanor's offer wasn't just money, it was a lifeline. But promises come with consequences. By accepting Eleanor's help, Michael made an unspoken vow. He would leave Angela behind and commit himself to Eleanor. The payoff wasn't just financial, it was emotional, binding him to a future that Angela could never be part of. Behind closed doors, Michael began to plan. The divorce was already finalized, but now the path forward was clear. Eleanor's home in Australia became the destination, and February 20th was set as the date when their union would be made official. For Michael, it was the culmination of a year-long secret. For Angela, it was the ultimate betrayal. Angela Deem had always been known for her fiery personality, but nothing could have prepared her for the betrayal that unfolded after her divorce. When whispers of Michael's secret relationship with Eleanor reached her ears, the shock quickly turned into rage. For Angela, this wasn't just about love lost. It was about dignity, reputation, and the humiliation of being deceived in front of millions of viewers. Angela had stood by Michael through years of cultural clashes, family disputes, and public scrutiny. She had defended him against critics, fought for their marriage, and endured countless arguments that played out on television screens worldwide. But learning that Michael had not only hidden a $700,000 debt, but also chosen another woman to erase it, was the ultimate insult. Angela's fury was not quiet. She refused to let Michael walk away unscathed. Within weeks of the divorce, she filed a defamation lawsuit against him, accusing Michael of tarnishing her reputation with lies and deceit. To Angela, the lawsuit was more than legal paperwork. It was her way of reclaiming control, of showing the world that she would not be silenced or humiliated. The courtroom became the new stage for their drama. Fans who once watched their arguments on 90 Day Fiancé now followed every headline about the trial. Angela arrived with determination, her presence commanding attention. Michael, on the other hand, appeared subdued, his calm demeanor masking the gravity of the situation. The evidence presented painted a damning picture. Angela's lawyers argued that Michael's actions, his secret relationship, his hidden debt, and his betrayal had damaged Angela's public image and career. Michael's defense struggled to counter the narrative. The truth was undeniable. He had chosen Eleanor, and in doing so, he had left Angela to face the fallout alone. When the verdict was announced, the courtroom erupted. Michael was found guilty of defamation and sentenced to 5 months in prison. For Angela, it was a victory, a moment of vindication. For Michael, it was the lowest point of his life, a public downfall that stripped away the last remnants of his dignity. Angela's fury had transformed into action, and her lawsuit ensured that Michael's betrayal would not go unpunished. Yet, even in victory, Angela's story was far from over. What she chose to do next would surprise everyone. The courtroom became the ultimate stage for Michael Illisamy and Angela Deem's fractured love story. What had once been a reality TV spectacle now transformed into a legal drama, with every headline capturing the tension between betrayal and justice. Angela entered the courtroom with the same fiery determination that had defined her on 90 Day Fiancé. Dressed sharply, her presence commanded attention. She wasn't just fighting for herself, she was fighting to reclaim her dignity, her reputation, and her narrative. For Angela, this trial was about more than Michael's betrayal. It was about proving that she would not be silenced or humiliated. Michael, in contrast, appeared subdued. His calm demeanor, once seen as charm, now seemed like resignation. He sat quietly, listening as Angela's lawyers laid out the case against him. The evidence was damning. Secret communications with Eleanor, financial records pointing to the hidden $700,000 debt, and testimonies that painted Michael as manipulative and deceitful. The trial unfolded like a drama in slow motion. Witnesses spoke of Michael's double life, of Eleanor's role in erasing his debt, and of Angela's public humiliation. Fans who had once cheered for their love now watched in disbelief as the man they thought they knew was exposed in court. Angela's lawyers argued that Michael's actions had damaged her career, her public image, and her emotional well-being. They painted him as a man who had used Angela for fame, only to discard her when a wealthier option appeared. Michael's defense tried to counter, claiming that his relationship with Eleanor was personal and unrelated to Angela's reputation, but the jury wasn't convinced. When the verdict was announced, the tension broke like a thunderclap. Michael was found guilty of defamation and sentenced to 5 months in prison. The decision sent shockwaves through the courtroom and across social media. Angela's supporters celebrated her victory, while Michael's fans struggled to reconcile the image of the man they had admired with the reality of his downfall. For Angela, the verdict was vindication. She had fought back and won. For Michael, it was devastation, a public humiliation that stripped away his last defenses. The courtroom drama had ended, but the consequences were only beginning. When the gavel struck and Michael Ilasami was sentenced to 5 months in prison, the reality of his choices finally caught up with him. The man who once charmed audiences with his quiet demeanor now found himself behind cold steel bars, stripped of freedom, reputation, and the life he had tried to build. Prison was not the glamorous stage of reality television. It was harsh, unforgiving, and filled with silence that forced Michael to confront the truth. For the first time in years, there were no cameras, no Angela, no Eleanor, only Michael and the weight of his decisions. Inside, Michael wrestled with regret. The betrayal of Angela, the secrecy of his debt, and the allure of Eleanor's promise all replayed in his mind like scenes from a film he could not escape. He had thought money would buy him freedom, but instead it had bought him chains. The $700,000 debt was gone, but the cost was his dignity. Yet, prison was also a place of reflection. Away from the chaos, Michael began to see the cracks in his own choices. He realized that Eleanor's lifeline had come with strings attached, and Angela's fury had been fueled not just by betrayal, but by years of mistrust. He was no longer the man viewers had once rooted for. He was a cautionary tale. Letters from Eleanor arrived, reminding him of the future waiting in Australia. She promised that once his sentence was complete, their wedding on February 20th would go ahead as planned. For Michael, those letters were both comfort and torment. They offered hope of a new beginning, but they also reminded him of the price he had paid to get there. Meanwhile, Angela's victory echoed outside the prison walls. Fans rallied behind her resilience, praising her for standing strong in the face of betrayal. Michael's downfall became Angela's triumph, and the world watched as their roles reversed, Angela rising, Michael falling. 5 months may seem short, but for Michael, it was an eternity. Every day behind bars was a reminder that choices have consequences, and secrets always find their way to the surface. When the prison doors finally opened, Michael would step into a new chapter, but one forever marked by the shadows of his past. For many, Angela Deem's story could have ended in bitterness. Betrayed, humiliated, and dragged through a courtroom battle, she had every reason to retreat from the spotlight. But Angela was never one to break under pressure. Instead, she chose resilience, turning her pain into power and her heartbreak into a new beginning. In the weeks following Michael's sentencing, Angela surprised everyone by refusing to wallow in defeat. Rather than letting the scandal define her, she began speaking openly about her journey, telling friends and fans that she was determined to rebuild her life. "I won't let this destroy me," she reportedly said. "I'm stronger than what he did to me." Angela's resilience became her weapon. She embraced the idea of love again, not as a desperate attempt to replace Michael, but as a conscious choice to reclaim her happiness. Rumors began circulating that Angela was meeting new people, exploring relationships, and considering remarriage. For her, it wasn't about proving anything to Michael. It was about proving to herself that she could rise above betrayal. Her decision shocked fans who had expected her to retreat. Instead, Angela leaned into her fiery personality, showing the world that she would not be defined by Michael's actions. She began appearing at public events, smiling, laughing, and radiating confidence. Every appearance was a statement. Angela was back, stronger than ever. Behind the scenes, Angela's family rallied around her. They had witnessed the pain of her marriage, the humiliation of the trial, and the weight of betrayal. Now, they supported her decision to move forward, encouraging her to embrace the possibility of love once more. Angela's resilience wasn't just personal, it was public. She became a symbol of strength for fans who had followed her journey from the beginning. Her story resonated with anyone who had faced betrayal, reminding them that heartbreak doesn't have to be the end. It can be the beginning of something new. By choosing to remarry, Angela wasn't erasing her past, she was rewriting her future. Her decision marked a turning point, proving that even in the face of scandal, resilience can triumph. Angela's next chapter was not about loss, but about renewal. As Michael Ilesanmi counted down the final days of his prison sentence, one thought kept him moving forward: Eleanor. While the world saw him as disgraced, Eleanor saw him as a man worth saving. Her letters, filled with promises of love and a new life, became his lifeline behind bars. And with each passing day, the dream of their wedding in Australia grew stronger. Eleanor's home in Australia represented more than just a destination. It was a symbol of escape. Far from the chaos of Angela's fury, far from the courtroom drama, Australia offered Michael a fresh start. Eleanor had already begun planning the ceremony, envisioning a celebration that would erase the shadows of his past. February 20th was chosen as the date, a day that would mark not only their union, but Michael's rebirth. For Michael, the wedding was more than romance, it was redemption. Eleanor's decision to pay off his $700,000 debt had already proven her commitment. Now, her willingness to stand by him despite the scandal showed a loyalty that Michael had never experienced before. In Eleanor's eyes, Michael wasn't a fallen reality star. He was a man worth fighting for. The preparations for the wedding carried a sense of urgency. Eleanor wanted everything perfect: the venue, the guest list, the vows. She envisioned a ceremony that would silence critics and prove that love could triumph over scandal. Michael, though still haunted by his past, clung to the hope that this marriage would finally give him stability. Yet, whispers of doubt lingered. Fans questioned whether Michael's motives were genuine. Was this truly love, or was it survival disguised as romance? The timing, the debt, the secrecy, all of it fueled speculation. But Michael ignored the noise. For him, Eleanor was not just a partner, she was salvation. As the date approached, anticipation grew. Social media buzzed with rumors, fans debated the legitimacy of the union, and Angela's supporters watched closely, waiting to see if Michael's new chapter would collapse under the weight of his past. The Australian wedding dream was more than a ceremony. It was a gamble. For Michael, it was the chance to rewrite his story. For Eleanor, it was proof that love could conquer scandal. And for the world, it was the next shocking twist in a saga that refused to end. The story of Michael Ilesanmi and Angela Deem did not end with a courtroom verdict or a prison sentence. Instead, it splintered into two paths, Two lives forever changed by betrayal, resilience, and the choices that define them. For Michael, freedom came with both relief and uncertainty. Released after 5 months behind bars, he stepped into a world that no longer saw him as the charming reality star, but as a man marked by scandal. Yet, waiting for him was Eleanor, steadfast in her promise. Their upcoming wedding in Australia on February 20th became the beacon of hope he clung to. To Michael, Eleanor represented redemption, a chance to rebuild his life far from the chaos of his past. But whispers of doubt followed him everywhere. Was his love for Eleanor genuine, or was it simply survival dressed as romance? Eleanor, however, remained unwavering. She had erased his $700,000 debt, stood by him through prison, and now prepared to welcome him into a new life. For her, the wedding was not just a union. It was proof that love could conquer scandal. Yet, even she could not silence the critics who questioned whether Michael's loyalty was to her heart or her wealth. Angela's path was different. While Michael looked toward Australia,
it will be Angela's
inward.
responsibility.
The divorce, the betrayal, and the trial had left scars, but they had also revealed her strength. She chose not to crumble, but to rise. Her decision to remarry shocked fans, but was a declaration of independence. Angela was no longer defined by Michael's choices. She was defined by her resilience. The aftermath of their saga rippled across social media and fan communities. Supporters debated loyalties, some siding with Angela's fiery strength, others intrigued by Michael's gamble with Eleanor. The world watched, fascinated, as two former lovers carved out futures that seemed worlds apart. In the end, their story was not about who won or lost. It was about the cost of secrets, the power of resilience, and the unpredictable nature of love. Michael and Angela had lived their lives in front of millions, and even as they moved into new chapters, the echoes of their past continued to haunt them. And so, the saga of Michael Ilasami and Angela Deem closes with two lives heading in opposite directions. Michael, freed from prison, prepares to marry Eleanor in Australia, clinging to the promise of redemption. Angela, scarred but unbroken, chooses resilience and the bold step of remarrying to reclaim her happiness. But as one chapter ends, another begins, and the questions linger. Will Michael's marriage to Eleanor truly be built on love, or is it a union born from survival and financial salvation? Can Eleanor's devotion withstand the weight of Michael's past, or will the shadows of betrayal resurface in their new life together? And what of Angela? Will her decision to remarry bring her the peace she deserves, or will the echoes of her turbulent past continue to haunt her? Has she truly moved on, or is this her way of proving to the world that she cannot be broken? The answers remain hidden, waiting to unfold. One thing is certain: the drama of Michael and Angela's story will continue to captivate, leaving us all wondering what comes next. Stay tuned, because the truth is never simple. More update. 90 Day Fiance Angela Deem debuts new boyfriend. Michael Ilasami wins big in Angela Deem court case. And Angela Deem makes cryptic promise to Michael. Angela Deem accuses Michael of physical abuse in court filings. I will explain everything. Angela Deem, a star of 90 Day Fiancé, has been talking bad about Michael Ilasami since they broke up. She recently said some surprising things about Michaela being in an abusive relationship. Angela is doing everything she can to get Michael out of the US, but he's enjoying his best life, which shows that he's entirely over her. But it looks like Angela is finally ready to start dating again, as she seems to have introduced her new guy. Read on to see the video. Angela made news lately when she filed new court papers saying that Michael was an abusive husband. Michael is said to have smacked and hit the 90 Day Fiancé star in the face. Angela also said that Michael grabbed her wrist hard enough to tear her skin and make her bleed. There is no proof right now that Angela's claims are true. Angela says that Michael not only physically abused her, but also got another lady pregnant in the US. Recently, the reality TV fan page 90 Day Fiance update posted a video of Angela Deem on a plane with a man she didn't know. She put her finger to her lips and then pointed to the person who looked a lot like Michael Illisan. The star of 90 Day Fiancé didn't say anything about the man who could just be a stranger who happened to sit next to Angela. But later in the video, Angela stroked the guy's shoulders and sang a part of the song that said, "Baby, love me for real." This could suggest that they are in a romantic connection. A lot of people were shocked by Angela's video, which told the man to run. Run, man, run. Oh, come on. If she comes back, I will absolutely quit watching. Man, run. And I mean quickly. Oh my God. I thought it was Michael for a second. SMFH. Lord, another brother is going to get locked up in her mom's room again. This isn't going to end well. Angela Deem has been posting positive things on social media while she fights Michael Illisan in court. The star of 90 Day Fiancé agreed with a fan earlier this month when they said that she is now living her best life. Angela has also started streaming live videos of her singing with her grandsons. TLC hasn't said yet if Angela will be back for a new show. But it looks like the network is letting Angela and Michael take care of their legal problems in their own time. I love her all the time, but I love her when she sings. Oh wow, that's the first time I've heard you sing. You're really good. Her teeth are very pretty. Michael Illisan wins big in Angela Deem court case. The 90 Day Fiancé actors have been fighting in court since Michael Illisan left Angela Deem's house. Angela wanted an annulment, but new rumors say she might lose half of her money instead. This is what we know so far. There is a lot of false news on social media right now. For now, consider with a grain of salt the claims that Michael got half of Angela's assets. At least until the court papers are made public, posts on Instagram by 90 Day Fiancé News memes and Celebrity Vulture started the rumors. TV season spoilers later wrote about the story. Angela herself made the first accusation during a live TikTok session. Both pages posted a short footage of what the former reality TV star said, pointing out how upset she looked. The description of the post drew attention to Angela's allegation, although official court confirmation is still pending. Angela Deem said on her recent TikTok live that the court is sending half of her money to her husband Michael, who she is no longer with. Because of this, she typically maintains her money in cash, saying that everything she puts in her bank account could be taken away. Most fans of TLC agreed with Michael Illisan and said that Deem was bullying him and being abusive. They even began a petition to get her out of the brand. It's not surprising that Michael has more supporters now that the news has come out. One of them said, "Good. Michael deserves it because he put up with her for so long, . And a lot of other people have something to say. Here are some additional things people said. I'm really delighted for Michael. He deserves the best. No one should be treated the way he was. I like that he played her. Therefore, the player got played. She is very clearly bullying, and some may say hurting Michael on film. He is being talked about badly, but not in a way that makes him do anything illegal, while Angela keeps making confessions that cost her money. It's wonderful. She should have known better than to toss a cake in that man's face. Isn't it strange how karma works? That woman put Michael through a lot of trouble, thus he deserves a medal and a lot of money. So what? How much of Michael's money did you spend on plastic surgery that he didn't want you to? People said Angela Deem exploited Michael Illisan's money for plastic surgery. And that's not surprising, . Other accounts say that he gave her almost $200,000 during the time they were together. What do you think? Are you okay with Michael perhaps getting half of Angela's things? Would you like to see the real court records to check? Angela Deem makes cryptic promise to Michael. Angela Deem, a star of 90 Day Fiancé, has been posting a lot of angry things on social media after she broke up with Michael Illisan. By the end of HEA Season 8, the two were no longer together. Michael said he fled away from Angela because she was treating him badly. But Angela comes back with a stunning promise to Michael, so it looks like there's more to the story. Read on to find out what she said. Angela has been busy promoting her next birthday party in Canada, in addition to throwing dodgy remarks at Michael. The star of 90 Day Fiancé will throw an early birthday party at a Toronto club on December 1st. Angela has been busy with more than just her birthday. She has also been working on becoming a grandma, which is something she has wanted to do for a long time, even though she is going through a tough time with Michael. Angela seems to still be plotting her retribution, even though she wants to move on. Angela talked about her problems with Michael in a recent interview. The star of 90 Day Fiancé says she knows where he lives and what he wants to do next, but she doesn't care about him and says, "Enjoy America while you can." Angela Deem also alleged that Michael Ilasami abandoned her and fraudulently induced her to marry him, which is against the law. "All I can say is, remember who brought the ratings," she said at the end of the interview. "That's all I can tell you. It wasn't you." Michael Ilasami hasn't responded to Angela Deem's latest threats yet. But the star of 90 Day Fiancé doesn't seem to be bothered by anything his separated wife does. He just posted a picture of himself on Instagram, giving a peace sign with the remark, "Let our lives be full of both thanks and giving." He also wrote earlier this month on how he was going into November with new blessings and chances. "I'd love to see a new show about Michael's life in America. Every time I see an update or post about you, I get so excited because you look so at peace. You look so calm. I love it. Good man, blessings. I love it. You look like a completely new person. Your shine is showing. Don't ever let somebody bring you down. This is the Michael we all wanted to see." Angela Deem accuses Michael of physical abuse in court filings. Angela Deem, a star of 90 Day Fiancé, is back with stunning news in the middle of her court fight with Michael Ilasami. Angela wanted to end their marriage when things got messy last year when they broke up. Michael made things more problematic by filing for divorce and asking for half Angela's assets. But it looks like Angela hasn't told everyone about some other shocking things. Read on to learn more about Angela's claims that Michael abused her physically. Angela keeps in touch with her admirers on social media by posting videos of herself doing cute postures for the camera. The star of 90 Day Fiancé still calls herself the queen of reality TV. For a long time, she hasn't been mean to Michael, but it might be because she chose to go to court about it. In the meantime, Michael has been doing very well as a social media influencer. He's been posting funny sketches on social media. One of the newest videos he put up was of himself falling from a swimming pool after following Brittany Banks, a cast member who was showing off her hot figure. Michael is still having fun, but Angela is now taking additional steps after Michael's latest claims. A fan page for reality TV just posted new information about Angela Deem's counter-motion to Michael Ilasami's recent claims. Michael revealed he had provided Angela $235,000 over the course of 5 years, which put an end to her allegations that he had never helped her financially. Michael still wants a divorce and wants to throw out Angela's request for an annulment. But Angela now filed a fresh motion saying that Michael hit her. The star of 90 Day Fiancé also says that Michael got another lady pregnant in the US. There isn't any solid proof of what Angela says right now, but Michael may be in a lot of trouble if they are true. A lot of admirers also have something to say about it. LOL, she was the only one that hit me. The judge only needs to watch one episode to see it over and over again. LOL, when she broke into his house at night and hurt his car, that was staged. And this is what it feels like to get a divorce from a narcissist. They lie, defame, and abuse, and they do it through the courts. Michael gave Angela $235,000. Was that how much he paid her to get him to the US? In that case, Angela used him too, and brought him over for money, not love. They both took advantage of each other. Michael Ilasami hasn't said anything on social media, but the star of 90 Day Fiancé is known to deal with his problems with Angela Deem in private. Since June 13th, he hasn't posted anything new on his Instagram page. This could suggest that he's busy working with his lawyers. Angela, on the other hand, just posted a picture with an internet personality named Joy C. Ortiz. Angela is still living her best life, even though she is having problems with Michael. The picture was taken at a party. No more today. What are you thinking about this gossip today? Let us know in the comments and stay tuned by subscribing to our channel to get more updates like this. Thank you.